What's going on, guys? T Mezzy. It's been a little bit, but I'm back after being gone for a little while. And today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on using FL Studio 20 on Mac. And basically, this video is going to be for people who are just getting started with FL Studio and they have a Mac, and people who are using Ableton Live or Logic and they've switched over to FL Studio. Now, I currently use FL Studio and Ableton Live. I also use Pro Tools as well too for mixing and things of that nature, of course. But today I'm going to be going over the basics of FL Studio. Now, first things first, when you get FL Studio loaded up and everything like that, it usually has a couple of different, I think like a kick, a snare, a hi-hat, and an open hat right here in the channel rack, which is this right here. And then also the playlist is open as well. And this area is where your custom folders and things like that would be. And there's a couple different things I'm going to go over here as well too. So basically today, like I said before, I'm going to be going over getting started in FL Studio and basically using FL and using the basics of it. I'm going to make the explanation in 15 minutes. So after watching this video, you should be able to use FL Studio 20 on Mac and be able to make beats and do basic production in FL within like 15 to 20 minutes. So let's get started. When you first open up FL, you have your channel rack, your playlist, your mixer, and you have your browser over here as well too. And then you have a couple of different things up here in the transport area as well. You have your pattern, your song, play, stop, record, tempo, metronome, pre-count, and this is for your typing keyboard. So if you want to use your regular keyboard, you can do that as well too. And then over here, you could change it between like minutes, seconds, and your bars or beats as well too, and how many bars you've got going as well. So to load up everything in FL and to first get started, what I did when I first loaded up FL is I went to Options, then I went to Midi Settings. This is where you would go to load up your MIDI controller, keyboard, things like that. And it's very simple. All you have to do is click on the keyboard, which your computer or your Mac should already recognize if it's a plug and play, but if not, you might have to install some drivers. All you do is click on it, mine's already enabled, and hit enabled. And that's it. Next up, go to your audio tab and settings, right next to MIDI, and you're going to want to obviously click your audio card of choice. Of course, you have your built-in output, and then for me, I have my UAD Apollo. But because I'm recording the video and I want you guys to be able to hear the sound coming from FL as well too, I'll be using the multi-output device. And then of course you could adjust your buffer length depending on how much CPU usage you want to go through the computer and FL, how much you want FL to use. Next up, I would go to your File tab. Now your File tab is where you're going to be able to add in your custom folders, things like that. Let's say you have like a folder for where all your sounds are, for like drum kits, things like that. You just click on the folder right here. Then you just look for your folders wherever they're located, hit open, and that's it. They should show up right in your browser area. And that's about it, honestly. Everything else stays about the same. Next thing you want to do after loading in your custom folders and getting your audio card enabled and getting your keyboard enabled is load in your plugins, which is probably one of the most important pieces of using FL. You know, a lot of people use third-party plugins nowadays. So you're going to go back to your options. You're going to click Manage Plugins. Now, my plugins are loading, and I have a good amount of them. And once that's done, they'll show up here. Now, initially you are going to have to hit Start Scan, and I'm pretty sure it comes up with a window will pop up when you first load up FL asking you to scan your plugins. But if not, all you have to do is click this plus folder next to where it says plugin search paths, you click the plus. Then you're going to go to your main Mac hard drive, or if you have 2 hard drives, whatever one, wherever your plugins are installed. You're going to go to Macintosh. For me, a Macintosh SSD. Go to Library, Audio, Plugins. And then one by one select which folder you're going to use. Now, because FL uses VSTs and audio unit plugins as well, you would click VST, VST3, and the components folder. Once that's done, you hit open, load all 3 of them up, and hit start scan. Now once that's all set, your plugins will load up after 10 minutes or so, and then to find them, you're going to go over to your browser, you're going to click plugin database, and you're going to go to where it says installed. Now you have your stock effects and stock generators. Your effects are going to be like your EQ plugins and sound design plugins and things of that nature, and your generators are going to be like your actual sounds, like Omnisphere, Contact, and things of that nature. But because those are stock, we're going to go to where it says installed. And then same thing as before, same explanation, installed effects, installed generators. And then you have your different VST or audio unit, and then your Fruity, of course. Now, all you have to do to load one up is click whichever type you have. Then all you would do is click and drag. Now I already have an instance of Omnisphere open, so it would just pop up, and that's it. Now the same thing goes for adding in different sounds like drum sounds and things like that. So what I'll do is open up my drum kits. Let me find a specific kit that I want to use today or tonight. Open this up, and I'll just click, drag it over, drag it over, and you don't have to always do that as well too. You could even do this. You could right click, open a new sampler channel, and it'll load up right there. Then get an open hat as well too. Same thing goes for like 808s. Now, one key thing about 808s, if you're not using like an 808 inside like a plugin or something like that, you want to click on the 808 itself, hit the wrench, and make sure it cuts itself. Some of them will automatically do it, but if not, you just open up the sound like so, hit the wrench, and make sure it cuts itself, or else the sounds will clash, and that doesn't sound good at all. Now you have your different steps here in your channel rack after you have all your sounds loaded up. And the channel rack, like this part here, works great for, you know, for like your drum patterns and things like that. This is where your drum patterns 9 times out of 10 would be created, and even the whole entire like basics, like the skeleton, I guess you could say, before arranging of the beat would all be based out here. So what's great is I have my hi-hat here, and let's say I want to get like a 16th pattern going. I could right click, have it fill each 2 steps, and it's gonna go or if I want it to fill each 4, it's gonna go and if I want it to fill each 8, it's gonna go but we're gonna go with fill each 2. After that, it'll sound like this. Right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make a little pattern, just a small little beat, and then once I'm done, I'll show you guys how to arrange. Alright, so I'm back. I got my little pattern going and whatnot here. And yeah, I'll play it real quick for you guys. Let me just mute my mic. So yeah, that's what I got going. And to add stuff in and whatnot, all you have to do is just click on the step itself, and like it'll highlight. And to erase it, just make sure you hit like the right click, and then you can just like click it and then right click it, and it'll go away. And to record, of course, just gotta hit the record button and hit play. Now once you're done, you just make sure you hit the space bar or the stop button, and then take off the record. It'll stop recording and whatnot. Now once it's all said and done, you have this all recorded, the first thing you might want to do, honestly, to make things easier for you, is highlight all of these tracks here, right? Then you're going to go to your mixer. As you see here, you got your levelers, things like that. You're going to right click the first track. At least you could right click any of them, but I would normally just stay organized. Right click the first track. Then you're going to hit channel routing. Then you're going to do route selected channels starting from this track. And then boom, all of the sounds that I have here are gonna be right here. And now, if you're like probably like, well, how do I add in like EQs and stuff like that? What's cool is that you have a little equalizer already built in, or you could use one of your own, either the Fruity Parametric EQ or like a Fab filter or something like that. And all you have to do to add those in is you select the first slot and you select your EQ. So like for the Omnisphere sound, I could just hit Fruity Parametric EQ and basically go on from there, mix it, add in my plugins, and that's it. And I could even EQ it from here if I don't want to really use one of those. I could add other plugins here and use the EQ from right there. And then if you want to solo the track, you just arm it. Oh, you just right click it, or you could not, just click the green button in and out. But and then to arm everything again, I believe, yeah, so you could the best way to do it is right click the track to solo it, and then right click to highlight everything again. That's it. Now of course you got to EQ everything, so level everything out and whatnot. And you could pan as well too. This little knob right here will pan everything. So I'm going to pan this one to the left a little bit and this one to the right, and drop this back a little bit. And then once that's all set and done, and you have everything EQ'd, mixed, everything like that to your liking, next you're going to do is go to your little pattern right here. You're going to click this, then you're going to hit split by channel. Now you're going to go over to the playlist, and this is where everything is. Let me just open this up, zoom out a little bit, and then you just one by one, boom. Now, one thing when it comes to arranging that it took me a second to learn was the magnet right here. You have your line, cell, none, 1/6 step, 1/4, 1/3, 1/2 step, 1/6 beat, 1/4 beat, third, half, beat, and bar. Now when I arrange, I have it set to bar so that literally it sticks right to the grid. There's no additional lines or anything like that. Because if I were to switch it to like a 1/4 step or a 6th step, you see all these additional lines, and it's more of like a slide, so it will shift it off a little bit. But I usually keep it on bar. Now, let's say obviously I'm gonna double this twice for the chorus, and to select everything, you just hold Command and scroll up with your wheel or on your trackpad, and then to duplicate it, just say Command B. Now, this is just a quick tip, but if you're using a mouse with FL Studio, it helps a lot and works a lot better than using your trackpad. Just for like hands-on feel and things like that, it just makes more sense. So then afterwards, I'm actually gonna take these and then do it one more time. And then let's say I want to erase some of this to start arranging it a little bit, I'm gonna just right click on the sounds I want to take out. And that's it. And then once I'm done here, I'll do it again, and boom, I'll play it back. And make sure you select song, because if you select pattern, it's not going to play. Select song. And yeah, and that's it. And then once you have it all arranged to your liking and how you want it and whatnot, next thing to do is go to File, Export, and then we're going to hit Wave File. Now, once it's all said and done, obviously I'm going to change it to actually I'm going to copy that and make a new folder, hit create, and then I'm going to hit save. Now as you can see here, these are my settings: wave bit 16-bit, wave bit depth 16, 32-point sync, and then I split the mixer tracks as well too. And it's gonna, once I'm all done here with everything like that, I just hit start. And that's it. I've exported my beat. It's all mixed. It's good to go. And that's it really. And that's the basics of using FL and learning it in about 20 minutes or so. I would say 15 to 20 minutes, and you got the basics of FL down. Obviously it's not going to be the like advanced or anything like that, but I feel like that's the quickest and best way to learn and quickly understand FL Studio, especially if you're switching from like Ableton Live or Logic or anything like that on Mac as well too. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, you know, just leave a comment down below, or you could obviously send me a message or follow me on Instagram and whatnot and send me a message or something. But yeah, if you have any questions, just hit me up. Guys, peace.